Hello, Kate.
Hello.
I am so excited to talk to you. I've been a fan of yours for years, and this is such a great Best Actress nomination for you. I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you. It's been so fun and just having a blast.
I bet. Uh,
Yeah.
I've been following your career closely for the last few years, and I've loved seeing you. You've become a rock star with your Talk About Love and the Glorious album. I also loved seeing you as the Sally in Role Model last
Oh,
summer.
that was
Um,
fun.
yeah. But what was it like? Was it like this perfect synergy that you became a rock star yourself while preparing to play Claire?
Well, actually, that happened over a long period of time. I mean, I mean, not like great songs, but I've been writing songs since I was little. And it was always my happy place at the piano, and a little bad guitar. I'm getting better. I'm better at guitar now, uh, but writing was always just, where I kind of expressed myself creatively the most. And I'm always have been too afraid to share it and just stuck with acting, and um, when COVID happened, it started happening before that where I was like, I never felt like I was really fulfilling my creative, you know, purpose. And I didn't really wasn't really able to pinpoint it until COVID. And during COVID, it was like, oh my God, are we all dying? Was that moment,
Yeah.
lockdown, this could be really bad. Um, and it just made me think about what I had been doing in my life. I felt really good about the mother I have been and how much effort I've put obviously into my children, and that's my priority. It always has been, always really will be. But when I thought about my creative output, I was like, no, I'm not, I'm not doing the thing I love the most. And that's writing music and putting it, having the courage to put it out there. So that sort of started it. And then I wrote an album for years, and it took about, 2.5 years, and then I put it out. And when I was putting it out is when Hugh saw me on CBS Sunday morning, and he called the director and was like, I think she should be in the movie. So that
Oh
was
my
how that
gosh.
happened. I know,
Yeah.
really
That's
cool.
so
And
crazy.
yeah, it was like, it's sort of one of those lessons of you never know what or why the decisions you make end up being or changing your life,
Yeah.
but the energy that you put out, it does come back around in some way, especially if it's authentic and it's is you and personal, creatively. I think, I love what Rick Rubin says about, you know, when you are creating, you do it for yourself. You're not doing it for an audience. You want people to like it, of course, but like the creative, the soul of a creative output has to be something that you need to do. Um, and then let it live. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it
I
was,
think that's why you looked so in your element, like in on stage. It was great to see. It's like, oh wow, you're really finding yourself in a different way. So it was fun to watch as a fan too. So
that's thanks. You
yeah.
mean as Claire? You
No,
mean
I meant as yourself. You as
as myself?
yourself.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
you as yourself.
I was like, wait, but Claire is, I'm a little different on
No,
stage.
you as yourself. You with your, with singing and stuff. It was fun to see you do that.
Thanks.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
love it. I love it. I'm so happy singing.
you can see that. Yeah. I keep thinking about your iconic role as Penny Lane and her connection to Claire. It didn't dawn on me until I was just thinking about how they both really idolize music in some way. Like Penny Lane is, more than a groupie, but someone who loves the band. And Claire is someone who's more than an impersonator. She really loves the music and the people. Do you think Penny and Claire are they hiding behind other people's identities? Though it was something weird that I thought about. And I'm like, that's so interesting that that's a connection between those two characters.
I love that perspective. I've never thought of it. When I'm doing so many of these interviews, I love it because I never stop to think about these things. So when I hear your perspective, I'm like, yeah, I like that perspective. But I've never drew a parallel from Penny to Claire. But in reflection, yes, I mean, absolutely. I think that's a amazing observation. Penny was definitely a fan, but Penny liked, in her mind, liked to take on projects. Like she was also a muse.
Yeah.
So she inspired, for her, it was more about as much about what she inspired as it is what she supported. And Claire is similar.
Yeah.
Claire is Mike's muse and gets him inspired, and then she's able to support him and lift him up and be there for him, and then inevitably he's there for her too. um yeah, I never thought of it, but it was.
Oh, cool. I was also insanely fascinated by this whole culture of impersonators. And I was wondering, did you like do any research on that? I could watch a whole film just about that because I just found it fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did, honestly don't need to do research. I basically impersonate human behavior. Like it's kind of what I do, except not like I'm not mimicking
Yeah.
a famous person. I've seen so many great impersonators. There's a great band in Japan called the Parrots, and they're a Beatles band. They're really, really famous. Um, and I've been to see them a couple times. And, the thing about impersonators and musicians, I mean, whether you see a Led Zeppelin, tribute band or Rolling Stones, they're all usually really talented musicians. And
Yeah.
so it's really fun to watch people's interpretation of someone else's music. Um, and you get to see great musicians being able to do their thing,
Yeah.
even if it is someone else's songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the thing that I also definitely understand is when you have the bug and you like to perform and you want to sing and you want to dance or you want to put on a performance, you might not have made this or had the sort of level of success that might have been what you dreamt to do, but you still are doing what you love to do. And this movie really highlights
Yeah.
that these people who spent their life making music, playing music, are out there still doing it. And they have to because they just love it. So I have a lot of like I understand what that feels like because
Yeah.
yeah. I always
I also,
say if you find me like old in like, and you think it might be me and I'm like in my late 70s and I'm singing in some like Greek bar in the Cyclades. And you're like, is that her? The answer is going to be yes, it is me. I am retiring. I am retiring to a Greek island and I will be singing with some piano player somewhere in some weird.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, I also love how the underlying theme of this film, you kind of just spoke about it, is the power of art. I actually think that Hamnet and Song Sung Blue would be a great double feature about like Just the power of art and how it moves you. And I was wondering how did the
Yeah,
director, how
how it
did Craig?
heals. It heals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How did Craig bring that joy on? But it's a joyful film though, even though it has dark moments. How did he bring that joy on set? And or does just Neil Diamond music make it easy? Because God,
All of what
I
you're
left
saying.
so
All of what you're
happy.
saying.
Like,
Craig wrote a great script. I think there was a a writer one I remember this writer I forget who it was, but I remember watching the Academy Awards and he got up there and he said, "Don't ever forget a movie begins and ends with the screenplay." And that is the foundation of everything that we do. And I really was like, that is right. You can get lucky, and but a great screenplay is a great screenplay. And Craig really wrote a great screenplay. So with that, I think we were able to bring it to life. And the thing that stuck out with for me when I read it the first time was that you do go to all these places, but at the end it's so life affirming and you kind of
yeah,
realize like, that I mean it sounds I don't want it to sound like contrived, but love and family and community does get you through everything and can. And that was what you sort of leave with, on top of all the other things, the music and Neil Diamond. Yeah, Neil Diamond is the great soundtrack to a movie like this because
yeah,
his songs are these sort of anthemic, into total vibe. It
yes,
sits outside of anything else. Neil Diamond music is its own world. But then when you really listen to his lyrics, they're lonely.
yeah,
He's always searching and isolate the songs about isolation. Um, it's really interesting when you go deep on his lyrical content. And
yeah,
it's sort of masked with these big, bright, sing-alongs.
yeah.
And Craig was able to parallel that with this story. I just that's the sign of a really, really, really great writer.
Yeah, you can just feel the joy with the music and the cast. Of course, I have to ask, you and Hugh, you do that thing I've always wanted to do where you guys like stare at each other and you're singing and you look so locked in. And I was thinking, what was it like not only connecting with him as an actor, but also as a performer, because you guys really work well on stage too.
Hugh lifts everybody up, he takes you along. Um, I just had like an image as I'm saying that of like, a magic, the magic carpet ride. Like there's something about Hugh's entertaining bug that he has that is contagious, very, very contagious. And so when you're with him, he kind of makes you lighter on your feet, and sweeps you up with him. And his energy is just so motivating and forward moving. Um, and so performing with him is just wonderful, And he's very supportive and generous. So you never feel like he's lost sight of you unless you're at a bar. And because then he loses sight of you because he has to get on the bar.
Oh
Then
my
I'm
God.
like, where did Hugh go? I'm like, what happened? He's gone. There's a bar. He's standing on it. He's, you know, uh, singing to the patrons. Like he's he just loves to entertain. And You know, in a movie like this, it's really important that even though in real life it's not romantic love, but that you fall in love with your partner, you know, that
Yeah.
you move together and that you find a rhythm. And with Hugh, I was able to really understand him and to know him and to feel close to him in a way that was very important to the to the foundation of the movie. And he allows that, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing, you know, when you can put your ego aside and put everything and just like service this story and the relationship with each other and, you know, for each other. It was great.
Yeah. So when your character, when what happens to your character happens to your character, I mean, I guess spoilers, people should see this. How did that affect the physicality in the role? 'Cause especially when you're adding things like the accent, this larger than life personality, this woman you just want to hug, and then you're taking part of her away, removing her essence. What kind of went into that? Because I just felt like it had to be a really I've never seen a film tackle something like this before too.
Yeah, I mean it's process, isn't it? Like I guess, you know, it's kind of boring to talk about when you really get into what it is because it's not really it's not like juicy. But for me, it was a couple the most important things for me in the moments where sort of tragedy hits and I like when you say she sort of loses her essence, the sort of life force is kind of taken from her. Um, for me, it was a lot of understanding of mental health, of addiction, of what it is to have to like rebalance your life and a lot of shame, thinking, you know, a lot of work on understanding shame and feeling attractive and feeling like you've lost your sense of your own sense of that you're beautiful, or that you feel like you can be attractive to someone else. So all of those things, and then with that, your sort of relationship to your children and your duties and your life and what all of those things are like upfront process. I sit down and I write it all out and I go through it and I think about it over and over and over again. And then I do a lot of color work. I know that sounds, but I work with I like work with color when it comes to mood, and animal like body. I was doing this with my son last night. Actually, we're such dorks, but we're talking about like how funny we are humans. We forget that we're animals, how we respond to things. Like you hear a sound and you're like, and your head like moves. And then you see that with like a dog, you know, and a dog like hears a sound and their head moves. Like we do the exact same thing. So and then when you're an actor, you're constantly observing these things. So I do a lot of animal work, which is like how animals move, what animal it is. Um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of endless. There's so much. I do a lot of substitution. I don't know if you know what that means, but like um Ivana Chubbuck talks about it. I worked with her a little bit when I was younger, and I loved sometimes when you're having a relationship to something in a film, you know, you could be thinking this is like in the scene, you're talking to your partner, but really you might be substituting it for you know, a like the let's say you're doing a scene where you're angry or whatever, and you're having a hard time understanding that relationship in the scene, you can sort of substitute it to something like when you felt that way. So, you know, I can substitute that with like my brother and a certain kind of anger that I felt or why I felt that way. So I do all of that up front, and then I get on set and I let it all go, and I work with the actors and the director, and then I try to be as flexible as possible. So when you're going to those places like that is, to me, it's prep, 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 and then it's trust.
Yeah.
Um, so, and I did, and I had a lot of trust. So that was really great. It kind of allows you to just, you know, be completely uninhibited in those
Yeah.
in that.
Well, I'm out of time, but this was a
Oh,
complete honor to talk to you, and I
so
loved
fun.
hearing all of this. This was such a fun conversation and wonderful work, and congratulations
Thank you.
so much.
Nice to
Bye.
meet you. Bye.
Nice to meet you too.